Hello. How's it going? I missed Thursday's stream, so
where am I?
Here we are today. Professionalism? What's that? Okay, so since last time, my good friend Deivore has come up with another swamp screen for me, which I'll show you right here. Hang on a sec. There it is. Lovely. I love the mist in the background here. I'm going to put this into the game today. First thing I'm gonna do. Hey, Summer. How are you doing? I was about to say good morning, but it's not morning where you are, is it? Hey, Farrell. You caught me. Good to see you. I just want to look at the screen for a moment, because it's quite impressive, and I'm incredibly lucky to have Deivore, Stephen Schroeder, helping me with these swamp screens. It's really making the rest of the game look bad, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, get it into the game. So it's supposed to be this screen. No, that's 74. That's 10. This one. It's going to replace this screen. So. Track that just to keep a hold of it in case I need it. Oops. No, I keep going to the wrong folder. I'm still waking up, as you can tell. There. Now, new pick. Import. Looks pretty good. Perfect. And I'll just be probably working on some priority walk behinds and making sure the bubbles appear correctly too. So this is the new picture 17. Yes, overwrite it. Let's take a look. Whoop, what's going on here? What in the world? There we go. That was weird. Okay. So here's the one that we've already got. And here's the next one. Oh, this game's gonna be so good. And I can't move. Interestingly enough. Game crashed. Why did the game crash? Oh. Maybe because I don't have any code in there. Or control colors in there to handle the bubbles. It's looking for brown control colors and they don't exist, so the game crashes. Hey, Slats. I'm just putting in Deivore's new screen, new swamp screen. How are you doing today? Actually, open PaintShop Pro for a second. There we go. Just so. Oh, that's the wrong one. Need this one. There we go. So I can see it. I don't even need to do that. Okay, let's start this with there we go. That should appease the game. Yep, there's the bubbles. However, I still gotta... I probably got a wrong rectangles now for the script. The swamp region. Yeah, so I've got a set of rectangle coordinates for every screen. So for room 17, 127, and 37. Should now be 176. And actually, let's go right to the control. 176 and 37. Just change that. 37 is already correct. Excellent. Okay, now it's just that it'll still only appear on the brown area, but if the rectangle coordinates I have are too far over here, like if I just had it for the whole screen, it would be trying to appear on all these black areas, and then be repositioned to the closest brown pixel, which means a lot of them would end up trying to spawn over here and just all be on the shoreline, which would be unrealistic. So we want the rectangle here, so we get as few on the shore as possible, so there'll be a lot of randomness. It does look familiar, doesn't it? And now it's animating. Curious, does anyone know the guy who made this? He should be like... he should be working for some AAA company or something. Should get him to do some more. Oh, that's good. And it won't appear on those little rocks because I've blacked those out. Okay, so now let's just do a bit of priority. That's the old screen. The old screen kind of had the island in the distance here, but I'm glad that you can't see it on this version. Like, it's so far out. Like, I want this swamp to look huge instead of just, you know, this little oversized moat around this small tiny island. It's got a castle, for goodness sake. It's got to seem huge. So I'm loving the scope and the scale that this exudes. Yeah, I talked a bit about that on stream, and that was exactly my reason. Excellent. It's beautiful. Like the haze in the distance and everything, it's just this evil pouring off the swamp and infecting the land. It's excellent. So, let's do some priorities. I'll do it before the control. For some reason I just like having the control the last thing I do. Okay, first things first. Let's do this guy. It's just gonna be a white. No. Yeah. White priority, that is. Interestingly, I was going through Sierra's classic SCI tools that got leaked a while back, and I was going through their tools for view editors and picture editors. It's very interesting. The way their picture editors handle draw commands is not like a list like this where you can jump around wherever you want. It's just everything drawn on the screen can highlight if you cycle. I haven't figured out exactly all how it works yet, but you can cycle, not cycle, but you can select whichever draw command you want and it highlights and it flashes, and then you can edit that. So it's supposed to be more like, I don't think it was supposed to be as transparent that there was a list of commands on the side in the background behind the scenes. It's just that you could edit anything on the screen and it would just, the editor itself would handle the functions behind the scenes of where everything is drawn and in what order, which I thought was pretty neat. Alright, we don't need this. Gonna be tedious, but it's okay. It's gotta be done. Can be difficult to tell where the dithering ends and the foreground object begins, but it's okay. It'll be close enough. It is useful, and I wouldn't trade this. It has some more features too, like being able to... You can mirror commands in the original picture editor. But this will resize them and rotate them and flip them up and down and move them around, copy them from other screens. So you must have had some kind of spray paint-like tool. I see something like that in a lot of time lapses. For EGA? I mean, we have access to that too. It's just... It's not really spray, it's just random patterns. That's about... Everything we can do in this, the original picture editor could do, because it's all reverse engineered, and since the original screens had to be recreated perfectly to be compliant with SCI standards, things like the pen tool. This looks exactly the same, by the way. In Sierra's editor, it's actually surprising. When you open the brush style tool, it looks exactly like this. Messed up hotspot drives me nuts. I'm gonna stop looking at this. I'm gonna look at this instead. Just pull this out. This is at least exact on the hotspot. Try to give it a bit of shape. Bottom. As long as the distal branch parts are generally smaller, it seems fine, yeah. Spray could be useful. Not immediately sure what for though, even flowers. I like the KQ4 plus signs. Yeah, and that's just a slightly larger brush style. Like that one right there is the plus. Pretty much never use anything but lines and fills, so I need to learn to branch out. Is that a pun? Sorry. this is kind of a chore to get these in, huh? A little bit. That's okay. That's what I expected. I'm gonna redraw them too, visually, so that they look identical. I'll make sure they look identical. But they're all done with vector draw commands instead. But I'm gonna do that later another time. That's also gonna be time consuming. And for now, that'll be one of like the final things I do. Even though I'll probably regret leaving that much work till the end, but maybe by then I won't care and just leave it like it is. With the imported bitmap version. I love your process though, so don't change how you're doing this. I mean, unless you want to experiment, but I know there's limitations working with SCI's picture editor. So if you can't pull off what you can pull off with ProMotion, then you just keep on using that. I will survive with this. It'll be worth it. The previous track. Oh, it's gone now. I've interrupted the random playback. I think it was the copy protection music from Colonel's Bequest. I think that was what was playing before. This one? Talking about this one? Doubt I would prototype an SCI, but might draw ultimate pics in it. Up to you, man. Or if I can, I don't really have room on the OBS scene anymore. On the starting soon video, before I start streaming, I capture the little Winamp information areas telling what song it is, but I don't think I have room to put it anywhere on this. I wonder if there's gotta be some kind of mod you can add to OBS to show what it is song you're playing. I know people do that all the time. Maybe I should do that. Again. I don't think that was the one. Sounded like museum theme with unrecognized instrumentation. Museum theme from what? I've got tons of Sierra soundtracks on the playlist right now. Dagger of Amun-Ra, maybe? I'm trying to think of games that have museums. Amun-Ra. Yeah, let's find it. Museum Waltz. Okay, Lion Decker Museum. that the one? There's also Museum Investigation. That one? Okay. Yeah, this is all MT32 so far. I do the same thing. I often leave putting in priority lines and control lines till later, then curse myself when the time comes. Yeah. Well, for imported bitmaps I do. If I'm doing vector commands, I'll activate the proper priority draw commands as I'm drawing them. Except I won't. I'll go back and retroactively add in the priority colors on the list. So like this one, Pond Island. I initially drew all of this in black, right? And then I'd go back and change the colors. And then, once I figured out the priority of everything, I'd go back and see visual 0, priority 10, and start drawing this. And it's drawing the same thing at the same time. This is how Sierra did it to save space. It also saves time. Well, you just have to go back and input, but you don't have to redraw everything. So I highly recommend it, to doing it this way. Yeah, I use lines mostly too, though. The only times I didn't, so for the flowers here, I use the brush. And then here for this bush, I use the brush. And then down here I do, yes, that looks kind of nice down there, actually. Kind of pops out compared to the rest of the screen. Yeah, you gotta process and you do it. That's all that matters. It works, man. Do it the way you want to do it, the way that's fun for you. This is entering museum. These instruments are too familiar too. You draw priority and BG at the same. Yeah. Like they're just commands. Like, so you can turn on the visual, priority, and control colors at any time. And they can be two on at the same time. See this? The visual and priority is already set as it draws those rocks there, which I didn't fill in yet. We're doing things out of order. Like, see, before I finished the rocks, I went back and did the seashore here, the shoreline, and then came back and did the rocks. So I'd have to reactivate the priority colors, or just draw the outline. Actually, what did I do here? Drew the outline, and then I disabled it. When did I fill it in? Right there. So I could disable visual right here, so nothing on the visual will be drawn on, and then set the priority and fill that in. The only problem with this is back in Sierra days, this would be extra commands. That wouldn't be necessary if I just... actually, I think ultimately it would have been lesser commands in this case. But yeah, anyway. Time to feed Super Kitten Baby. Okay. Good luck. This here is the theme I was talking about that it sounded like, but the drastically different instruments. Yeah, these are the soundtracks from Quest Studios that Tom Lewandowski recorded. He recorded a bunch of digital Sierra soundtracks with his MT32 and also his sound canvases, more modern ones than the SC55. With the he had an SC8820 and an SC8850, which is way newer. The 8820 has USB support, and he used that a lot for his Quest Studios work and for the King's Quest 1 and 2 remakes by AGDI, and Quest for Glory 2, and Al Ammo, Himalaya Studios' first commercial game. That was his tool of choice, the 8820 and the 8850 with his MT32. You can find the website is gone now, but pretty much all the digital, yeah, I think they're all up there now. All the digital soundtracks he made are on the Quest Studios archives, which hosted by, who hosted it again? I'll post a link in the chat. MIDImusicadventures.com/Quest Studios. He gave permission for this site to host all his original content. Check it out there. You can download them all. I was sad that he never actually did he did a Heart of China soundtrack, and I believe he did a Willie Beamish soundtrack, but he never did a Rise of the Dragon soundtrack. Oh, Willie Beamish is not here. I guess it was just Heart of China. It was the only dynamic game he did. He didn't do Stellar 7 either. He did Sylphid, Sorcerian, Zeliard, Firehawk, Dexter 2. But he didn't do Willie Beamish, Rise of the Dragon, or Stellar 7. Willie Beamish is there as a MIDI soundtrack. But yeah. Check it out. Conquest of the Longbow? Yes, there is. Wait, is there? Maybe there isn't. He did a okay, there's a Camelot one. Did he not do? Hang on. Okay, Conquest of the Longbow. Okay, he did do one, but it's not on this site. I know this guy was adding them over time. Maybe he didn't get to... He kept adding soundtracks to the archive over time, but maybe he left out Longbow. I have Longbow anyway, I can get it to you by other means if you want. Or you can go on the web archive, the Wayback Machine, and go to queststudios.com and download it there. Most of the files are still intact. You can still download them. If you can navigate the site anyway. It is very nice. Aubrey Hodges and Mark Sieber did a little bit of it. Aubrey Hodges of Quest for Glory 4 and Doom 64 and Doom for PlayStation and Quake for the N64 soundtrack fame. He had quite the career after Sierra, doing horror ambient soundtracks. And you can buy them all from his Bandcamp page too, by the way. I don't know if he has the Sierra stuff there, but... Aubrey Hodges, search. There he is. Yeah, he's got Final Doom, the PlayStation soundtrack, Doom 64. Oh, he's got Quest for Glory 4. Official soundtrack, so he remastered it. Quake 1, Quake 2 for the N64. He didn't do the Quake soundtrack, but he did the N64 version of the soundtrack, which is completely different. Journey into the Sacred Places. Is that Longbow, I wonder? No, it's just some nice ambient stuff he did, I guess. But he's got a whole collection of his work there. New and old, it looks like. He did a game called Robotron X. Yeah, let me just post it. But, yeah, it looks like Quest for Glory 4 is the only Sierra one he's got there. But, incredible dude, incredible talent. Okay, so, anyway, we're doing priority. That's what we're doing. I love this soundtrack too, from Goblins 3, Cocktail Vision game. remember when my dad bought this for us. Actually, I think he bought it for me specifically. Back in when we were kids. I had the full box version and everything with the floppies. I still might have the floppies somewhere, but the box is gone. And I played the crap out of this game. Almost beat it. I got almost to the end. I was in the last few levels and I still have to play it. Maybe I'll stream that sometime. Be fun. This is Quest for Glory 4. I gotta get his Bandcamp version of this soundtrack. There's a lot of Bandcamp stuff I've been putting off that I need to actually finally pull the trigger on. I get a bit of extra money. I will. Felt bad. Lee Jackson, the composer for 3D Realms. He did music for Rise of the Triad and Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior. And more recently, he did music, all new music for the Duke Nukem 3D World Tour Edition that was released on the 20th anniversary. It has a whole new episode of levels. He wrote all new music for it. And he released that as an album on his Bandcamp called Calibrations. Anyway, I friended him on Facebook and he bought a couple of my songs and an album off of my Bandcamp. And I was like, wow, I have to return the favor. And I haven't yet, and I feel so bad. I want to support the guy. Just finances got tight and wasn't able to do it. One of these days. It's good stuff. You should check it out. You all should. Excellent work he's done. He has a Facebook group too, and he's very active on it. He's had some issues with surgery with his foot, his toes in particular, I think. I think he had to get one amputated. And but so when he's got doctor's appointments and he has to rest or whatever, he's out of the loop and kind of MIA, but he always comes back and updates everyone how things are going. And, yeah, super nice guy. Oh, sorry, I got sorry. Good morning, Audio Eric. Nice to see you. Quest for Glory 4 was kind of like Final Fantasy 7, where I get out of Midgar and I'm like, oh, I guess the whole world is not this gloomy. Oh well. Sorry, poor young adult cats are so jealous of the fatty wet food the baby gets to eat. I don't know, I've tried to soften the strictness of this Twitch language chat filter thing, and it's still really it's flagging the words fatty and baby. Like, come on. Pretty soon we're gonna get to the place where there's no English words left anymore that we're allowed to use for anything without a adult content flag or something. I think it's a bit ridiculous personally. I think people are grown up enough to filter tone for themselves for some of these words. Come on. Oh, I'm off screen again. Leadership level 3. Okay, what's going on here, Deivore? Is this all one? Or is that part of the... Are these two different branches, I guess? this is like separated. Just zoom out, have a look at that. Or is that part of the ground? This one's part of the ground, isn't it? And this is the actual branch. Yeah, I'll stick to this. I walked into that one. Yes, fatty, but not baby. That is extreme. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just do a custom list of words myself, and I just thought I didn't think it would be this strict. I think this is a little silly, but whatever. I just want to filter out hard profanity, that's all. Whoops. Done with this tree. There. Gotta fill in all these tiny spots. Yeah, this for instance. This is a track from LSL6. But it's using instruments and especially a drum kit from his SC8820. It sounds like that's not an SC55 drum set. Actually, that would be faster than that. He's using a line. I don't know what that line is doing there. It should go away. Faster than a bunch of fill commands. Battle theme is getting me all hyped. I think those are different branches, and the lower one is catching part of the ground dither, but not sure without my file. Oh, okay. I thought it might be, maybe you did this after, and this line here is part of the ground detail. You see, like, you got some black lines on the ground. That might be what this is. So the actual tree is like that. Does that seem right to you? I'm always surprised at how high res the Roland tracks are compared to what I experience most games on. Well, again, yeah, that Roland sound canvas came out long after the games. It was a newer model. And it's not just him playing it off of that and calling it done. He actually took a lot of time mixing each instrument, like volume-wise, and choosing the right one. Like there's I think the 8820 has like 3,000 sounds compared to the SC55's 300 something. And even then, Sierra soundtracks didn't use all of those. They only used the stock 128 instruments from General MIDI that the Sound Canvas had. Sound Canvas could do more, but because the Sound Canvas created a new standard called Roland GS, and that has like, I think it's 300 or 600 instruments, I can't remember. 300 some, 600 some. And while they specifically composed for the Sound Canvas, Mark Siebert, the music director, told them that they couldn't use those extra sounds. They had to stick to General MIDI, so they couldn't use all those extra instruments. They're all comparable, and there's just a few extra types of strings and horns and maybe synth effects and synth sounds, guitars. pianos. Yeah, everything that the General MIDI standard has, the GS expanded on to have more, and that included drum kits too. But the Sierra games don't support them. The composers really wanted to use them, but he said no. But yeah, the MT32 especially still sounds incredible. I find the sound canvas sounds, SC55 anyway, I've heard it so much now, especially with my Music Pack website I have for DOS FPS games that use the sound canvas. I'm really sick of its sounds. It sounds pretty classic and stale, most of them anyway. But the MT32, despite being worse, never gets old to me. So this sounds like a mix of MT32 and newer sound canvas model too, and it sounds great. Like the drums, especially on the MT32, are really just. I think a lot of what sells it too is the reverb. The reverb on the MT32 is so much better than the sound canvas's reverb. There's just some kind of studio quality flair to it. It sounds incredible. Fill in things that aren't meant to be filled in. Yeah, that's definitely. See, that sounds like a sound canvas guitar, but it's got a effect on top of it, like a wah-wah effect. So that's clearly from a later sound canvas model. Wow, wow. That sound to it. Probably would look better to just make it thicker at the base so it looks right. I think it looks alright. Yeah, that's true. The reverb is incomparable. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the instrumentation is much better. Yeah, there's just a few patches on the MT32 that are second to none, like the soundtrack patch. Okay, this is Trolls' Space Quest 5 reorchestrated, which he released on vinyl, and I have one here. I got the green screen on, it's not going to see anything. Let me just go to the big screen for a second. Okay. Just this turn that off. Oh no, I don't have to do that here. This just came a couple weeks ago, Space Quest 4 vinyl. It's going outside the box. And this is the Space Quest 5 one. Oh yeah, I got two, because the one that it came in is actually backwards, it opens backwards. So he offered for people who wanted to buy a replacement, which I did, and this one opens properly. Sorry, I forgot to turn that back down. why I do know green screen with like a slob. Yeah, it's pretty nice. There's also another Space Quest 4 version which I got framed. The first release he did, which has less tracks. Oh, it's reflecting the screen. Of course it is, because it's glass. And then Space Quest 3. Just waiting for Space Quest 6 to manufacture and ship now. Headphones are too short. Hi. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It makes a really nice cover, the Space Quest 3 screen. Absolutely right. Space Quest 6 one is going to look nice too. Okay. Are we done with this? No, there's still a couple more. Alright. It took a while, but it works. Beauty. Save. Play. And we are walking behind a tree. Oops. Too close to the edge of the screen. If I go too low, he'll automatically switch. I think there's a 10 pixel boundary. Whoa! What is going on there? Oh, I know what's going on. I left the priority draw. See, this is what happens. I left the priority draw color on because I drew the priorities before the control lines. So now this entire swamp is a walk behind. I didn't turn the priority color off, so it kept drawing the control colors in priority as well. So I have to turn it off there. There we go. No, we don't. What's happening? I didn't save. I didn't save properly. Sometimes Control S doesn't work when you're somewhere in the the picture editor. Control S doesn't register. Okay, there we go. That's another one I can do. Let's do this small little thing here. Good enough, ship it. Players won't notice. Yes, it's just the immense, overwhelming nature of the swamp. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay, our next color here is. Now here's an instance where I will have to put the bounding box all the way up here. Otherwise he'll be walking in behind this thing if I don't do it properly. So this is going to be purple. I keep wanting to sit really close to the mic, but you can hear me pretty good from here, right? I don't need to go any closer. Let's see here. Start from here. Whoops. Can't trust the stinking hotspot. I gotta see if I can fix it. Maybe just change the hotspot of the cursor, I don't know. I don't know what this is from. Heart of China. Doesn't say what it is. Every track is just called Heart of China. From the album Heart of China. I remember my dad playing this game. I never played through it myself. I always used to play at the beginning
Roger
area.
Wilco, please step forward.
Here, speaking of the Space Quest 6 vinyl, here are the tracks from it, which you can get for free on Bandcamp. SpaceQuestHistorian.bandcamp.com, featuring guitar work by me. Incidentally, I played guitar for the tracks. One of the Orion's Belt rooms, I think it was 2 or 3, and Roger's Quarters. That was fun. Speaking of my guitar, here's an original track I wrote back in 2013. Heavily inspired by Tangerine Dream and Mike Oldfield. You can get that for free on Bandcamp. My Bandcamp. It's a 9-minute instrumental. This is the first track I ever felt comfortable selling online, when I first released it anyway. Now, is that a branch or a shadow? I'm gonna say it's a branch. 'Cause I don't see how the shadow would make sense. Back to priority. Let's just do this. Mic is fine, good. No idea what track that is. Train Fight maybe? Probably. I don't know. Never played it. I've actually never sold an art. Working on some Etsy stuff at the moment. Oh, well, let me know when that's open. I'd love to check that out. And to promote it. I know Julia Mielata does the Crimson Diamond quest game, the EGA game that's like Laura looking. She does commissions on EGA profiles. I might get her to do one of me sometime. She's really good at that. I'm putting off this tree. Although it might actually be easier because it's more all-encompassing and less like snaky like these things. I haven't decided if this tree, if I'm going to be able to walk this high or not. Because this looks pretty distant, this stuff. So maybe I'll have the screen change when you reach like this line or something. I'll figure it out. Okay, next. Let's do this one down here. So this will be green, lime. The term, all these colors have a name. So we have white, yellow, magenta, fuchsia, cyan, lime, light blue. All these fancy names, and then light blue, gray, light gray, brown, purple, maroon. Actually, I think this might be red, not fuchsia. Yeah, fuchsia is a purple color, isn't it? I think, you know, I've heard discrepancies with this. The purple, the dark purple is called magenta, and the light purple is called fuchsia in a lot of different places. But in SCI, the program names are magenta for the light purple, and then just purple for the dark purple. So this is lime, and this is green, and this is teal, and this is maroon, and this is red, even though it looks nothing like red to me. And then dark blue, and which really should be navy, and black. Different people have different names for them, I guess. My internal names are all light X, dark X. Yeah. Chatted with her a bit ago about commissions, money costs. Got some good ideas thanks to her. Excellent. I can't wait to see it, man. If you do start something. Doesn't super work for yellow browns, but yeah. So what do you do? This light yellow, dark yellow, or light brown, dark brown? There's no perfect explanation. Alright, let's do this tree. So we're at line. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do line. Maybe it should be teal, actually, because you can walk behind the tree here. Yeah, let's do teal. Or, sorry, not teal. Cyan. I think it's light, dark yellow, though. Could be. I'll try to pop open my code on my lappy. Light dark yellow, yeah. I don't need to go down this low because the walk behind is not going to happen this low, but I'm just being thorough. I do love this track. I think some people might feel a little awkward about preferring their own music or their own art, but I mean, you have to like it or you wouldn't make it, right? I love my own music. I only would want to make music I love. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. Because I oftentimes don't even think that I really come up with this stuff. It just kind of happens and I discover it. I'm like, oh, I have to share this thing that I've discovered. So that's kind of how I look at it a lot of times. Whoops, that line did not. That in. And that's to also promote to an extent too, just the way it is. Yeah, and then you get that, like, some people get that imposter syndrome thing where they don't believe that they're as great as everyone says, and they feel like they're popular when they shouldn't be. It's really hard to see people go through that sometimes. But I get it. I mean, not that I'm popular or anything. Now I have to work out the difference between the leaves of that tree in the background and this one. I think this whole leaf area though is the first tree, isn't it? Prefrontal cortex is a trip, yeah. Quest for Glory 2. Yeah, he has two. Tom had two Quest for Glory soundtracks on Quest Studios. He had the one he did from the game, and then the one he made for the remake, which is different. I think there's extra tracks, and there's more production behind it. This sounds basically like the MT32 soundtrack. Not much added. He didn't mess too much with the MT32 tracks. He sometimes would use a different drum kit, sometimes would use better horns from the sound canvases and strings. Mostly he stuck to the MT32 though, which is great, because it's a great sounding little synth. Did I stop it? I stopped it. Getting a little easier now to tell where the lines are. Oh no, that's a different tree. Right up to the top, and I think that will do it for that tree. Let's do a little test. Great. Great. It's all meant to be one tree there. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. Yeah, I might do this tree. I don't think I'm going to do that tree. I think I'm going to change the screen when you hit this line, maybe. But this is the last big one to do, so let's just do it. Rip the band-aid off. I don't think it's going to be that difficult anyway. So, he'll be walking behind it. So I should probably make the tree brown. Whatever color's in the band, if the player's standing on this same color, anything that is brown, Graham will be drawn on top of. So he'll start to walk behind it up here, in the purple range. So that's the color we'll make it. A lot of times too, I won't, I'll just draw the line right here. Just this whole area up to there becomes, and I won't need to draw anything below it because anything brown below it is not going to be drawn behind it anyway. So you only need that one line. Get into game development, be prepared for a lot of tedium. It's just the nature of the beast. It's going to be there somewhere. Oh, I'm hitting the limit, that's why. Need to figure out what I'm cooking during Julia's stream tonight. Oh, she's streaming tonight. I gotta keep, there's so many people to keep track of their streams, their stream times. Definitely would like to catch hers. I think Graham is too tall to go that high on the screen, yeah. And since SCI 0 doesn't have scaling, although we figured out last week, didn't we, that scaling was just, it looked like it was just all script. So I wonder if I can port it to SCI 0 and be the first SCI EGA fan game to have sprite scaling? Maybe? I have no idea if it's going to work. It seems like it's all script based though. And the games that use it just have a new object. I think it's called view feature or something. New feature. So I'm going to try it at some point. If I can scale it, then I'll be able to do the walk behinds. That would be neat. ACI could do scaling with walk areas too, right? If you really wanted to make all those views. Yeah. And then that's how Sierra did it for EGA games. When he has to be smaller and the view is bigger. Like Cloud Landing in King's Quest 1. They had a smaller Graham sprite. King's Quest 5, every time there was a zoomed out scene, they'd have varying sizes of Graham. There's even one shot where they had an overhead view and you can see him walking from the top of his head. Starting with King's Quest 6 and Space Quest 5, they started actually scaling the one view and they didn't have to make alternate views, which is what I'm going to attempt to port back to SCI EGA. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I'm going to try because it seems to be entirely script based. I just have to translate the script backward. This is where I really need to be designing for the color lines, huh? Well, you could. I can work around it. It's usually just a little bounding box away, and you can make sense of it. It's not too difficult to mess around with it, but if you wanted, I can get you a transparent overlay, because the priority lines are always in the same place, and then you just so like, hang on, let's just stop this for a second. Okay, so here's the priority lines. They're always in the same place. And the companion even shows you what color they are. 14 is white. Or no, 14 is yellow. 13 is whatever the next color is. Magenta, and so on. But they're always in the same place. In SCI 1 or 1.1, you can actually move these priority bands around to where you want them and where you need them, but in SCI 0 and AGI, they're fixed on the screen. And see, it doesn't go any higher than up here. Anything black is just in the background. There's nothing less than black, because there's only 16 colors. So, whereas yellow's at the bottom, but white is over everything, and you can see white is not listed here. So they're only, how many pixels are they apart anyway? Let me just, 2. So we have 43 to 52. That's what, 9 pixels? They're 9 pixels each, starting from the bottom, I believe. Let's test that. Yeah, 189 to 180. So they're 10 pixels. 179 to 170. So you could make one yourself with those dimensions if you wanted. But it doesn't matter. I can work around it. An export would be sweet. Okay, I'll get you one. I love those zoomed out ones in King's Quest V. They're really nice, aren't they? Excuse me. Really want to, yeah. Dynamically modify those sprites in SCI 0. I believe you can, yeah. With SCI 1.1 can. And I thought it was like something only SCI 1.1's interpreter could do, but it doesn't seem to be any kernel functions involved. It's all script based, which means, I mean, anything you script can be ported back as long as it doesn't use a kernel function that doesn't exist in that version of SCI, or a flag like screen drawing transitions. There's no flag for scrolling left and right for SCI 0, but there is with SCI 0.1 for scrolling screens and up and down. But there doesn't seem to be anything like that with the sprite scaling, so that's something I'm going to experiment with. Alright, let's go back to... Here we go. Let's finish this tree. We might have a fully working screen here pretty soon. I'm going to try to get some animating flies buzzing around different areas of the swamp too. That'd be pretty neat, eh? This back over. What is this from? Quest for Glory 4. Another game I've never really played, but the music is great. Oh, Mask of Eternity. No, that's fine. Okay. Probably doesn't matter this high either, because nothing's going to be walking this high. Or maybe they will. Oh. I'll just add it anyway. Might as well. You never know what you might need on a scene. That looked like a box. I don't like that. Let's go here and then give a bit of contour to it. Like that. If you could dynamically modify sprites, you could make a whole lighting engine. What? How? Where's your train of thought on that? Are you talking about with scaling? You can dynamically modify sprites to do anything. Like, as far as animating is concerned. It's just the sizing and the scale that is in question, but I think that's possible. Whoops. Quest for Glory 4 Dream Sequence, okay. You could have maps of color A to lighter color B for several different colored lights. Oh, yeah, you can't affect sprites that way. You can't change the, it just draws the bitmaps. There's no way to change the color of them unless you're animating them. If you had a cell for each level of brightness you wanted, or maybe each tint, then you could do it. And, well, Sierra has done that with Space Quest 3. When Roger is on the garbage freighter and walks in the shadows of something, his view changes to be a darker version of it. I mean, that's pretty much just like changing the costume or whatever, but you can't do that dynamically to different areas of the sprite. It won't work in that way, because there's not really any lighting happening. Not even SCI 1 can... Well, no, SCI 1 can do that. Because you can shift the pixels value, the color pixels values in the palette to whatever you want, whenever you want dynamically, which is how they do the slow fade, because the whole palette is shifting to black slowly and then shifting back. That's how they do a slow fade. So if your view was using a specific unique portion of the palette, you could affect those colors to do whatever you wanted. You could change the hue, you could change the intensity, the lightness, the brightness. And again, it's something that they've done in SCI 1, but EGA, it's just the 16 color palette. There's no, and like, you're the one that did that color cycling EGA forest picture, right? A few months ago on Twitter I saw. And like color cycling like that, where you take indexed palette entries and cycle through them, that's something only VGA SCI can do. There's no really, I mean, there is indexed palettes in that there's, well, we have 40 options and we can make them whatever dithered colors we want, right? We can change this to be anything and then have different palettes. What we could do is swap between palettes, but that takes a while to do in SCI 0. It's not like you can do it super fast and have something animating that way. Although that would be an interesting experiment as well to see how fast that could work. But you could only have 4 frames of it, because there's 4 different palettes. You can swap between all 4 of them whenever you want, however you want. But, and maybe even as fast as you want, but the speed at which it would swap, I wonder if you could fake color cycling in this way. It would only be 4 frames, again. I just don't know how fast it would be. I don't know how fast SCI 0's picture drawing capabilities are. It's another experiment I should do sometime. You have to get clever and have multiple mappings of the same color. Yeah, that was you, yeah. Complete normal maps of egos, you could go nuts, yeah. Animating is not dynamically modifying sprites. That's changing the current sprite from a selection of pre-made sprites, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so SCI 0 can't do that. SCI 1 can't affect different portions of a sprite, you can just affect the colors in the palette. So if you, for instance, had you have to write some kind of complicated algorithm for it, but if you had a sprite, say a character, you could use different index values of black, multiple colors of black, for instance, for certain parts of him and others for different other parts, and the same with the colors. It would take up quite a large part of the palette, I have to imagine, and then you could use an algorithm to use alternate palettes and shift between them depending on and do that kind of normal map thing, but it can't be done dynamically to the view itself. It would have to be to the palette, and so you'd have to again write something that would give that effect to the palette. As long as you're using the right colors, indexed color values on the sprite itself. Again, something else that would be an interesting experiment, but it's probably beyond me. It'd be interesting to try. No, I'm not supposed to go up there. It's always interesting when you take things and use them in ways they're not supposed to. I don't know if any of that made sense that I just said, but it makes sense in my head. Example, the red of VGA Graham's shoulders would each have to be bound to different entries, that are both red, so they could be swapped individually to light shoulders, individually to lights on the left, on the light or left, on the right or left, That you could do that, and you just need to write a code that could figure all that math out dynamically without you having to worry about it. That would be quite an interesting thing to see, I have to say. Pretty sure that's well beyond me, though. I'm going to assume that this purple is for the tree behind it, and I'm going to stick to the black. Go up to here. This. I think that's right. I also found in Sierra's classic tools that the functionality that Ken Williams mentioned to compatibility with the old tablets they had at the time. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got this arm on it, but their picture editor could sync up in DOS with this tablet, and they draw with that tablet instead of using a mouse like I'm doing right now, which is pretty cool. I think discovering unintended useful uses of things is about as close a definition of creativity that one could make. It's the coolest example, for sure. It's kind of a bit of a hole here. Should I do something like that? It's only 1 pixel. Whatever. King's Quest 1 music. Perfect inspiration for this. Zoom out, get some context here. I'm still drawing the tree. Okay, that's good. Looks like we're almost done with this. Down close to the root. Oh, this is Quest Studios version too. They added Sound Canvas Choir to the back. There. And that's that tree. There should be no holes. That shouldn't be there anyway. That right there, that should do it. And then maybe just this little tree right here, which would be, let's call it teal. Off now. You know what would be cool, Deivore, is if when you're making these, if you can, you draw them in layers, right? Each object on the screen is a layer, or do you go that far? If you can make a copy of those layers, make them solid colors each, doesn't matter what color, and then layer those together and save a separate image, and then I could trace over those priority maps based on your layers, and I can get perfect shapes of these trees instead of being confused by every now and then. I mean, it's not a big deal, but instead of being confused a little bit by the dithering patterns about where something ends and begins. Does that sound doable? That might make things a little easier for a little quicker. I wish that Companion had the ability to import priority maps the same way you can import bitmaps. That would be useful, but we can't, so I have to trace over everything. I think this is the tree right here. But I can't be sure. Something like... Okay, yeah, I'm going into the... No, that's not part of the tree, is it? At least not that much. It looks like I'm going into the... Let's just reverse some of this. Maybe up to there. And just go straight up. Capture those funky colors there. But then there's the teal here. Or maybe that's just part of the lighting. In fact, these teal colors are probably for the other thing. For the other tree. So that should be like that, probably. Maybe? Can you import a separate image? Oh no, that's sad. Yeah, no. Not for priorities. It would be helpful. Tree ends at the dark gray black dither. Oh. Right here? Did I go? I went too far then. So these dither colors here, it ends there. I definitely went over to the black. Okay, let's fix it. However, I think those colors are part of that part there, so we'll just back it up. Let's put it back to there. Right again. Okay, I'll just do the dither there pattern. Follow it there. Up to that. Stop it there. Well, there. Oh yeah, that's okay. Shouldn't matter though. I'll get it as close as possible. Hopefully Graham isn't back there. If I can get scaling working, he might be. No, he'll be just behind this tree, and then the screen will change like up here. Probably around this end of this red-green dither pattern here. It's 11 o'clock. Might be able to finish this tree before I end for the day. Okay, let's... Oh, what is this? Gabriel Knight 2. That's a nice track. Robert Holmes is one of the good, really good Sierra musicians too. Even though I think all he did was Gabriel Knight, right? Played the first one, gotten pretty far. I saw the ending, my dad beat it. I've gotten pretty far but didn't beat it myself. I haven't played the other ones though. I've played a bit of the third one, just to get a handle of the interface, which I thought was pretty neat. A lot of people seem to hate it, and maybe in terms of game design or gameplay, it's a chore and a pain, but I thought for what it was an interesting idea. You could fully 3D explore the whole background at any angle you wanted. Alright, there's the tree. Also, I should just do it right now. Let's do new pick. That should be the lowest. Yeah, and then put the priority bands on. Take a screenshot. These color values here are outside the resolution of the image, so I'm just going to chop them out. Is it like Mist 3 Plus? No. It's picture a full 3D environment. The camera is not fixed. So it's kind of like you're in spectator mode on a 3D game or an MMO game or a first-person shooter or something, and you're just flying all around. You can look anywhere. You're not tied to the character at all. It's not first person. You see Gabriel Knight walking around, and if you can move the camera and examine different places, and when you see something and you want him to go there, you tell him to walk, he'll kind of walk right there. I thought the idea is neat. I guess the execution is not perfect because a lot of people hate it. Yeah, if you can give me the 190 tall, that'd be amazing, yeah. And the 320 wide. Speaking of Longbow, Longbow's playing right now. The camera point is not fixed. The camera's not fixed. You can fly around the scene any angle you want. The character is fixed. You can turn, look back at him, or zoom into a different... Like, you can go anywhere. I figured they did it so that you could get a good look at anything you really wanted to examine on a scene. Like maybe there's something hidden behind a barrel, so you go right down and look behind the barrel. Like with the camera, not the character. The camera's standing wherever you left him. The camera's just flying around the screen wherever you want to look. But I guess it was a bit clunky. Sounds like it probably makes it easier to miss stuff than they anticipated. I would have thought the opposite. But again, I haven't played through the game. I don't have a... I just thought it was a neat idea. Yeah, you can probably find some footage on YouTube for how it works. It's like you're in no-clip mode in a first-person shooter, and you just... Well, not no-clip, but you're flying around... Yeah. The camera, not the character again, but... Okay, so this should be 320 by 190. It is not. It's 320 by 228. Oh, right, because I have aspect correction on. I have to turn that off to get perfect resolution. Let's try this again. And then quickly turn it back on because not having aspect correction on is a sin against crime and a sin against humanity. Okay. So that should be 320 by 190. Okay. No, I'll do a... Okay, let's make a new layer. This version of Paint Shop Pro is kind of... finicky. Alright, save as a transparent ping, PNG. EGA, priority lines, transparent PNG. Okay, I'll send this to you somehow. Email? You want to email me or something? We'll figure out a way. I'll get that to you. But it sounds interesting, yeah. I love seeing novel stuff. I guess it was a failed experiment, unfortunately. I need to make sure I never post anything that requires perfect circles in EGA. Yes. If you do it in 320 by... Shoot. 320 by... Hang on. Whoops. 320 by 228. Do it by 320 by 228, and then shrink it to 190. And then you'll get about the aspect ratio you're supposed to. The thing about experiments is that they make great toys, but not always great games. People don't buy a lot of digital toys, sadly. Correct. So now if I draw a circle, okay, there we go. If I draw a circle there, resize this to 320 by 190, it's going to look like that. That would be what a circle would be. Anyway. Might be a bit loud there, sorry. Okay. finish this up. So we're pretty much done with the walk behinds. I just need to do the boundaries and control color. So it changes to white, because white in control is always. And I'm going to line them up with the priority lines too, so. So because this is a cyan colored tree, you should not be able to walk dang it. No, that's right. Just do it here. I like doing it in boxes because he trips up when he hits staircasing pixels. All the way over. Went over there too. Stupid thing. That's supposed to go straight up. I wish I could trust the hotspots. This might even be too much here. I should just do this, honestly. Alright, and next one. Yeah, let's do this big tree here. Which starts on brown. So we can't walk beneath that. And then the rest can be... Oh, you know what? That's part of it, isn't it? Alright, let's go down to there. One of my favorite tracks from Space Quest 4, by the way. And I loved Tom's version of this because it keeps building and he adds more instruments where the original doesn't. Starts sounding huge and real crazy. It adds a choir. In fact, I think I heard this version first. I was kind of disappointed when no, I didn't hear this first. I played this game when I was a kid. Oh, I love this song. Great. It's always disappointing when I actually play the game and it doesn't add all those choirs and everything. I thought it was Mordak's Castle when it started out, actually, from the flute part. Oh yeah, it's similar because they're both Ken Allen, I think. Ken Allen worked on both games. He might have done some of Mordak's area. I know Mark Sievert did too, and Chris Brayman, and Rob Adisop, actually. 4 composers on King's Quest V. But I think a couple of them just did a couple extra themes. That theme was the Thorine theme from Space Quest 10, actually. When she's gonna shave your legs off with the Epi Whip 3000, and then the Sea Slug comes out. It's just before the Sea Slug comes out. Okay, this part here is... I might just cut this off here, because we got roots coming all the way down to here. We don't want... Do we want Graham walking on those roots? I guess it depends if this is going to be a really narrow area to walk. Huh. I guess he can walk over these roots a little bit, but only up to here.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna hold. I'll just read what you said. The Flabberg asked me how much talent they put into the art and sound in King's Quest V and just said, screw it for the voices. I know. But voices were so new then. They were like, oh, people are gonna freak out that we have voices at all. It's just gonna amaze everybody. And really it did. As muffled as the voices were. Put this up to... Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go to there. And there. And there's our tree boundaries. I love that you do these streams. Shows the work can combine with passions. Well, thank you. You always gotta know who your audience is. Yeah. Oh, that's getting pretty loud. This is from Space Quest 2 VGA. The Tasmanian Devil theme, or the Levion Terror Beast theme. I don't actually remember this from the game. I don't know if it was not used or what. Okay, we got 2 more little trees to boundary off here. Let's do those quick and then test in game and we'll call it a day. Yeah, see, so this tree is purple, so we'll have to block them off about there. This will be a fairly big box because we need to... Zelyard! This music takes me back. One more tree. The control lines are a lot faster than otherwise. This is a teal tree, so block it off right at the teal, at least. Oh, jumpins. Well, we'll at least go the full length of the tree. Sometimes this music sounds like Firehawk. I wonder if it's the same composer. I know Rob Adasol did the kind of rocked up the soundtrack for Firehawk for the DOS version, but the original MSX version in Japan was, I think it must be the same because they're both Game Arts games. Sounds kind of like the same style. Okay, now I'm going to come up just a bit for here. That'll probably do it. Okay. Turn off control, save, rebuild. Let's try it. 17. It's funny, I actually finished this screen before I finished the one above it. So here we're walking behind the tree, we can't go past it. That's good. So far so good. See, he's kind of hiccup there. That's a good walk behind. Boundary. We can even walk behind the tree if we want. So yeah, I'd change the screen like right here. I'll probably make a purple control line right along this horizon, so it changes the room immediately. I'll do that quickly too before we close out. Now see, the bounding box has to be pretty high because again, the priority lines, you won't be able to see the lines, but if I go any lower, I'll be in the purple. See that? And then I'll be drawn on top of it, and I don't want that. So it's not a big deal though. It still works pretty good. And you gotta kind of take into account the width of his arms as opposed to his feet. You'd think maybe, oh yeah, for the control lines, we want it to go right up to where his toes meet, but really no, you want it to go up to where his nose or his arms reach, and so his feet can get as close as possible, because if you do it with his feet in mind, you'll actually find that his feet will stop short, because your shoulders come out farther than your feet, and so does your nose, the ego's nose. And even that is a little bit far away. I could get a little closer than that. Because see, that's where I got the bounding box, right there. And it's stopping where his arms stop, and not where his feet stop. So I could make that a little narrower. Otherwise, very nice. I like the ground colors on the screen so much better. We'll probably use them to modify the top screen just a bit. Cool, okay. Sounds good. Yeah, let's do that purple horizon line now. Before we turn off. Wait, what is this? Okay. Purple. Where are you, ego? Yeah, not much higher than the tree, let's say. He's at 64, 60. So we'll call the horizon line 60. Whoops. All the way over. Fill it in. The only thing we'll have to do now is when we come from the north, we have to make sure that Graham appears like here, beneath the the horizon line, which is greater than 60, so we'll call it 65. So let's go north. Oh no, if we're coming from room 10, he's already positioned at 60. We'll change that to 65. Another catch-all we might have to do is... So, where's the eastmost pixel we can walk down from on this screen is... Let's just call it 166. So that has to be clear up here. And we have... Yeah, that's well within the boundary here, so we don't have to worry about that. I could just make him appear right here every time. But I kind of like that it saves where he's walking from. Just if he could on this screen, blah 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 blah. What's going on? Everything's freaking out. Okay. If I could on this screen go further than whatever that X value was, if he could walk down here and then appear on the screen in the same area, he'd be in the swamp and would die. So I'd have to check to make sure he's not in any farther than that, but I don't have to make that check here because... But I might have to make that check going up, actually, now that I think about it, yeah. So down here, I can be as far over as 211, and when I go north, I'm going to appear in the swamp. 211 is right here, so I'd have to make sure, okay, if he's coming from any pixel greater than 138, bounce him back to 138 on this screen. So I'm going to have to make that call here. But one thing at a time. I'm going to do, so this is already done. So let's say 138. If he's coming from south, and if G-ego X is equal or greater than or equal to, I think that's the format. Greater than or equal to, what was that number I said? Let's say 140, 124. Else. Am I using if else right? Even bouncing him there, he appears right below some swamp area, which players could frustratingly walk into. Background could be modified a bit there. No, I can account for that. And Sierra did that too. A lot, actually, in their later EGA games. Early EGA games, they just mapped it perfectly to where he entered from whichever part of the room he's coming from. But in later games, especially the VGA games, they just moved him to where they want him to be. So I'm going to do that too. So don't worry about rearranging anything. Just if you want to change the colors, that's great. I think the screen is fine though, the way you made it. It doesn't have to match up. It's in the distance anyway, I like to think. Like this screen here compared to this screen, I like to think is not right up there. It's like a ways up there. Like there's a bit of distance, just to add to the scale of the game, the feel, the scope. So if he's above 124, we're going to position him, I'll just copy this. Right at 124. No. Right at 124. There. Okay. Now, if we test it, this is common practice. So here we're at this screen, and here he is here, and we walk up. Oh, the screen didn't save again. Oh, this drives me nuts. Save. Rebuild. Okay. 10. Okay, it's still not... Oh, I didn't put any code. I did not put any code whatsoever. Okay. Where's a room with some purple? This one has purple. I just gotta remember the code. I'm copying and pasting my own code. I should remember what it is, but it's gonna be in the do it method, right? Wait, yeah. So if, okay, I'm gonna try to type this out. If and G-ego control purple is purple, go to room whatever. If G-ego, no, if and G-ego control CTL purple, is it G room? Okay. Room 10. Is that right? Yes, I think that syntax is correct. Rebuild. There. Alright. Still not working. Don't know why. It's purple. Oh, I get it on the wrong room. It should be on this room. There we go. Fingers crossed, this is the last time I'll need to fix it. Boom, okay. And now if I'm over here and I walk up, it automatically positions me down here on the safe side of the shore and not directly into the swamp. Otherwise, it'll save where I walk to. That. I just need to get the walk behinds there. Good. Well, that's very pleasing to the eye. This is a very alive scene now. We've got walk behinds, boundaries, animating bubbles in the swamp. Scene's pretty much done. Just I just have to implement actually dying in the swamp, which I have to make some kind of animation for later on. How's it look walking left and back? Oh yes, that's a good point. Let's test that. So here's the tree. Yeah. You're not seeing him in this hole here because the code has the boundaries of the screen like 10 pixels, so you'll never see him in that hole. But that really works really well for that. I'm gonna change some of the ground here to match some of just the beginnings of the corruption that's going on here. Maybe even here, just so you can see, okay, something's happening on the other side of this. Oh, there's some something interesting going on over there. Oh, it's not happening anymore. And the bottom, perfect. I believe it's the same. Can't follow the mouse all the way over, but I think, oh. Yeah, close enough. That's great. Yeah, he's not even going to be in that little nook anyway. This little spot here that's free, I should just make that all white. Beautiful. Oh, it looks good. Thank you again so much, Deivore. Now I got to implement some right-clicking looks and parser responses and a death. I tried to line up the same Y value. Yeah, and it's perfect. It's close enough. It's absolutely wonderful. Also, because of these white blocks, even if it wasn't exact, because they're filled in, actually, the game will automatically position. It's kind of like the same thing as the illegal bits for the bubbles that we programmed in last week. So those bubbles won't appear on anything except brown. In the same way, the ego is already programmed by default to not be on anything except black, or no, it can be on stuff except black, but not white. So it's not allowed on white. And so when he appears in the screen, it'll move him as close as he can to the nearest non-white pixel. So it would automatically position him properly. I used to do outlines, so these wouldn't be filled in, and sometimes he'd come from another screen and get stuck inside the bounding box, which is obviously not good. But yeah, there we go. We're a little bit closer to... Oh, this looks so good. So good. Awesome. Alright, I'll call it there. Thank you guys for joining me. Deivore, I'll get you this PNG file for the priority lines. And so you can match them up. And it just... yeah, so if anything is drawn within those 9 pixels, and those 9 pixels of that color, anything within that same boundary will be drawn with the same priority colors and be drawn on top of the background. So if you want something to be behind an object, it has to be above those 9 pixels. It kind of is a little tricky to wrap my head around it when I first started it, but see this line right here, I've drawn the boundary of the brown. Right down here is the brown line, so I'm now drawn on top of the tree. So just anything, if ego is inside those 9 pixels, he'll be drawn on top of whatever is also that color. Something to keep in mind. Okay. Maybe you should change the slope into the swamp, though. Doesn't work super well. Why not? I like it. I like the slope. You don't like it? What are you envisioning? I like the slope here, not on the upper screen. Oh, okay. You think it's a little too steep? Or... I like it. I think it's fine. Maybe just make this one a little lower to like this point. This instead of being up here. Maybe just down here? I mean, I like it the way it is, but... I think it works okay. It's more like a drop-off and less like a slower slope in, like this. I see what you mean. But, if you want to fix it, go ahead. If you want to change it. Just looks weird when Graham doesn't follow the slope. Yeah, this is really steep, isn't it? Well, I could always make an animation where he slips and falls. Down. Down into the swamp from here. Oh, and dies. I can do the same on all these parts that are dark purple and... No, what is it, red? No, dark purple and black dithered. I can change it so all those spots are danger spots and you don't want to walk on them because you'll slip in. That might be interesting. Same thing here on these slopes. Yeah, like he'll tumble or something, head over heels and go right into the swamp. That might be easier to make sense of than slipping and sliding on his back. But that's something to figure out later. Yeah, that's what we'll do. I'll make this a danger area. So he has to walk all the way up here even. If he walks here, he's dead. That's a big area, but still, this is a dangerous place. There's got to be some hazards, right? Can't be all fun and games. Alright, anyway, I'm rambling. So, I'll continue Thursday. Hopefully, if nothing comes up again. And we'll get back to more of this. Thank you everyone again for joining. It was great. Is there anyone streaming right now? Who's streaming? I know Decaf Jedi was streaming earlier. Nobody I know. Okay. One of these days we'll do a raid. Okay, see you guys. Thanks for joining. See you Thursday.